Guitar Boss Radio, coming to you now.
Welcome to Guitar Boss Radio, with Rich and Josh.
Hola.
This week, I'm just going to chat about what I've been up to, and then we'll just bounce up from there. Does that all sound good, Joshy?
Sounds great, man. Let's roll.
So yeah, I'm in August at the moment, and in the summer, what normally tends to happen is people go on holiday, and that's all great. There's still quite a lot of people who are around, which is awesome. And because they're on the monthly, they're still paying and covering that and blah blah blah. And now I do sometimes offer catch-up lessons, but sometimes if they're not asking, if there's no time, then I'm not going to give catch-up lessons, which is quite nice. So you get a bit of a break, but you're still getting that monthly revenue coming through. So my key thing right now is to really gear up for September. So I've been reorganizing my groups, just like yourself, just jumped over to the new Guitar Ninjas method, which is really, really powerful. It goes through the different belts. I know there's a few Guitar Ninjas out there, but this one is pretty decent. Pretty happy with the material at the moment. And it literally goes from beginner to university level. So white belt to black belt. Now, you don't learn any Kung Fu, just as a caveat. So don't go trying to beat people up with your white guitar strap, but still. So just transitioning into that, we've already been doing group lessons. I've got a teacher, Carlos, who does an amazing job. He's got such a heart for the students, which is amazing. So as we reorganize, he's going to do Monday to Wednesday. I'm going to be doing Thursday, Friday. And as we reorganize, we're actually trying to get as many students into that Monday to Wednesday period as possible. And then I'm going to try and have Thursday, Friday a bit more open, and so I can build it up from there. But again, it can be tricky just trying to find people's matching times. So if you've got 3 teenagers who all have to do different times, it's very complicated. So you have to really figure that out. So it's a lot of contacting parents, finding out what times they can do, blah, 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 and just being very organized with kind of 45 people, whatever it is, which doesn't sound like that many, but 45 plus parents, etc. It's a lot of toing and froing, especially when they don't respond. But anyway, so just gearing up for September. So I'm going to send out a big flyer, run 10,000 flyers, and I'm going to run some Facebook ads in conjunction. So I'm hoping now that the average is, on a good run that I've done previously, is probably 1 paying student per 1,000 flyers, which sounds like not that much, but in theory, if I get all 10 students signed up, get 10 paying students, that pays for the flyers in the first month. And if I do a bit less, for whatever reason, I can't find times, or they're not as interested as they thought, then even if it's 7 out of the 10, after the second month, halfway through the second month, the money will be back, and then everything else is profit, which is amazing. So the flyer runs I've done before, I've put the price on. I've said I've done a 5-week intro, so it's £79, which is like maybe 89, 99 bucks, which is not a bad deal. And they worked quite well, but I've put my prices up a bit now. And when I put the prices on, I didn't get as a good of a return as I did before. So I'm going to go back to the free class flyer and see how that does, see how many inquiries I get in the local area, just in my postcode, and then go from there. So the flyer guys I use, they have GPS tracking, so I can track them, make sure the flyers are going out. And then, the FB ads, just going to set those up. Target mums, I think, is a good start, because the dads don't. I normally get mums contacting about guitar lessons, less dads than mums.
Yes, I'm here.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I ideally want to get from 45 students up to 60 quite quickly. And if the fly run goes really well, then I'm just going to do the same thing the next month, because even if I get less the next month, you know, it really depends, because people in August, they're really trying to sign up for September, but sometimes in September, they're just getting their act together and they're late to the party. So just getting that reminder. Also, the first flyer that goes out, they might not have read it. So if it comes through again, it's a reminder, and it could be 6 months until they read it. They need to see it again and again before. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to at the moment.
That's awesome, man. You mentioned about 10,000 flyers, roughly give or take 10 students out of that. Something that people don't think about a lot is your lifetime value of the customer. And say, for example, if you're getting on average, say like $200 per month per student, right? So, and that's 10 times 200, bro. That's a lot of money, in a given year. And you think about, okay, well, that's the yearly lifetime, but what about the average lifetime? And for example, this curriculum you're talking about, the Guitar Ninjas, it's like they say it takes between 5 and 7 years to get through white belt to black belt. So you potentially have a 7-year window of a customer if they stick it all the way through. Not everyone's going to be a college level player and care about that. You may not get very many black belts, and that's okay. But they just need to know that the option's there anyway if they want it. So think about it. Even 5 years, man, just multiply that out times 5, and man, so yeah, the payoff of those flyers is what I'm getting at is a lot when you really extend it to the average, student lifespan, basically.
Exactly. And I've found that the people who actually call up about the flyer are slightly more serious. They're more calling to book in straight away rather than, a Facebook ad that goes to a lead ad and then they dally a bit.
Right. They've kind of pre-decided already.
Yeah, exactly. They've read your sales letter, your sales flyer, and they've decided, yeah, this looks good. Little Johnny mentioned he wanted to play guitar. There's literally the amount of times I've heard, oh yeah, he's been strumming it for ages, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Oh yeah, he's been talking about guitar for months, and they just need that little thing just to poke them and be like, okay, yeah, here's the lessons, So that'll be us, hopefully.
That's right, man.
But the other thing is that I tried to build up an online base of students, and I started getting it going, but I still think that face-to-face teaching is something that I prefer than online, personally, especially in groups. Group teaching online is fine. You can leverage your time really, really well. You can get a lot out of it. You can share the screen. There's a lot of powerful things you can do like on the fly, especially if you do like a group workshop where you're teaching a song to 20 people or whatever, and you're saying, okay, we're going to do this bit of the tab, and then you can really expand it and blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you've got a piece of paper right there, it's different. So there's plus and minuses to it, but I do quite like the idea of them just being here, and I've got that face-to-face interaction, especially if I'm working on my business on the laptop for most of the day. It's nice to have that break from the screen. It actually forces me to get away from the addiction of the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you've done any flyer runs yet.
I haven't. So I got serious about teaching in January. I'm full-time in January. Up to that point, it's always been part-time, 3 or 4, maybe 5 students off and on. But everything I've got to this point, I lost 3 a few weeks ago. Then I just gained 3 new ones this week. So I'm back at 20. I got 20 students now. And it's been pretty much organic, other than like some flyers. I put maybe 10 flyers around town. Not like mailbox flyers, but like 11 by 17 thick cardboard. It's got my Josh Gillis beginner guitar lessons, and I put a QR code that says "Get to know me," and that QR code goes to my webpage, and I have a video VSL saying, "Hey, I'm Josh. Like, good to meet you. Here's what I do. For more information, click this button, book a free lesson," that kind of thing. Yeah. And that's how that pilot I mentioned in another episode found me. It was in the music shop, clicked on the QR code, I guess, and just booked a lesson. But but it's been mostly organic, word of mouth. So I'm trying to get my systems and my framework set. So when I do that, get more flyers, more paid ads running, that kind of thing, I'll be ready. Because my goal is to get to 50. My first goal is to get to 15. I just passed that not too long ago, and now I'm bouncing around that 20, but my next goal is to, once this group stuff gets going, is to try to get up to 50. So
Yeah, I know it happens quicker than you think.
yeah,
But for me, it's like I have to gear up to spend money. Do you know what I mean? It's like once you you kind of get used to a lifestyle and a certain income, and sometimes it's easy to think that, yeah, I'm going to put X amount of money in, but will I get it back? There's always that fear that you're going to lose the money, and then you think, you know, why did I do that? What have I done wrong, kind of thing. But in reality, it normally works quite well. So I kind of go through ebbs and flows of really, really driving the marketing, and then just like teaching, and then driving the marketing. But now that I'm not teaching very much, there's no reason why I shouldn't be just constantly testing. But again, for me, it takes a lot of reactive energy, a lot of build up to actually go and do it, because there's always this fear that it's not going to work and I'm going to spend money and not get back. And also just like another thing I've found difficult is just targeting one person. Like you've already said it like a few times in these podcasts, like you just do beginners, which is maybe something I need to decide. Maybe I just need to decide I'm just doing beginners, or I'm just doing this or that. Because even just defining, I'm just doing, I'm just teaching children under, between 7 and 15 or something, just that bracket. Because then all your marketing and everything that you put forward is a lot more targeted. Even if you just say, I'm going to do one targeting for 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, whatever. But yeah, with the flyers that I've done, whenever I've put them out, it's always attracted a range of different people. There was always a kid with a guitar on the flyer, and then it had a whole load of blurb of sort of this and that. But the range of people who called was unbelievable, all the way up to, from a 60-year-old to a seasoned guitar player to, mums and dads and this, that, and the other person. I felt like it was specific, but it seems non-specific. But anyway, targeting. It's a tricky one when you're trying to go to the next level.
it is, man. Yeah, I think I decided earlier on that, like, that's how I arrived at beginner is probably one is my own comfort level. Like, I know I'm not a insane, like, there's better musicians in town than me, 100%. But like, I think that I'm the best teacher, if that makes sense. And so I can resonate with students, get them to practice, make them feel good about what they're doing, like encourage them, get them involved in the process. Like, I'm just naturally good at that kind of stuff.
Yes, that is the role of the teacher. Ironically, teaching guitar is probably, I'm going to make up some stats here, but 10% about guitar and 90% about, encouraging them and driving them forward. Because the amount of times people come the next week and they said, oh, I didn't practice. And you say, oh, what happened? And this and that. And then you have to give them a nugget of motivation and drive, and to make them move forward and gain that momentum that they want. So they come to you because they want to do something. They want to achieve that goal, but they need someone to coach them.
Yeah, I agree, man. I found that rarely. It seems like the best teachers during the lesson actually rarely play their guitar. I mean, unless just to correct and figure, play something. I'm not just out there showing out and like noodling all over the place. They're just genuinely all about the student, because that's what it's all about, right? So.
Yeah. And well, the amount of times I have played, I like to play with the students. So even if they're just like, I had a 5 and an 8-year-old yesterday, brother and sister, on Monday, sorry. And what were they playing? They're just playing the E string. They're just doing like some note reading exercise. It was just the E string. They're practicing different rhythms with it. And they were playing it. And then I was just playing some chords over it, and it sounded really nice. And the mum was like, yeah, this is sounding great. And all they're playing is one string. And I'm doing, all the chords. But it just brings it up. It's
oh yeah,
getting as much accompaniment as you can. I remember when I did an assembly and I had these reception kids, so they're like 4 years old, 4.5 or something, and all they had to do was play the E string and then the first fret F on the thin string. And that's all they had to do. They were still freaking out, of course, because they're 4 years old in front of like 50 people and parents and whatever. Just strumming some chords over them doing that, and it still sounded fine. You know, it sounded good. So it's powerful. Powerful. A compliment is key. Anyway.
For sure, man.
Right, should we wrap it up there, big man?
Yeah, sounds good, big dog.
Okay. Let's sign out. Guitarboss.co. Check it out if you want to find out about the Guitar Boss movement.
There you go.
Peace out. It's Rich and Josh. See you in the next one. Bye.
Adios.